Folks, it's me, Denny Carter, with Rotoworld and NBC Sports coming at you for the Week 5 Start Sit live stream on the NFL and NBC YouTube channel. I still have never stumbled over this. I got my coffee. It's I Heart Dad mug from Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Probably from like 1990 or so. It has all the things that dads like. It has golf. It has the beach. It has air balloons, roller coasters. I don't like that. Dolphins, dad's big into dolphins. Mom on a on a surfboard. Everything dad loves. And I also have this thing here. It's called I don't know, what is it called? It's like a coffee mug warmer, right? I'm not going to pick it up because I don't want to burn my hand and embarrass myself in front of a live national audience. But what happens is it's 145 degrees on the surface of it, and I put my coffee mug on it, and it keeps it warm. Now, I've only been using it for a few days, okay? And I'm not accustomed to the coffee remaining hot, not just warm, but like hot. And so I'll do the thing, just through years of bringing my coffee to my office. I'm used to sipping it carefully at first, right? But then the second sip, you can be a little, a little more forceful with the sip. And then the third, it's just like basically cold. And then from there, you just finish it off. It's just disgusting cold sludge, right? But I'm not used to picking it up every time and having it hot. So yesterday, I actually took like a sip of what I thought would be tepid coffee, and it was scalding hot, which I like. By the way, I like the hot. The hotter the better. I need the hottest possible coffee. But I wasn't ready, and I'm not used to it. So I burned the roof of my mouth. I burned my tongue. I spit out the coffee on my leg, which then burned my leg. I have since sued myself. We're going to see where that goes in court. So I'm going to try not to do that today. All right. Well, oh yeah, right. A coffee warmer, big peacock bucks. Yeah. No, I mean, that's what you get, when you're working for a big peacock. I have actually 12 of these coffee warmers if you guys need any. All right, folks, listen, I see we have a lot of we're gonna hide that. A lot of questions, start sits. You can throw in your trade questions if you like. I'm gonna try to get to all of them if I can shut my mouth for long enough. I do. Okay, before we start, I'm not gonna shut my mouth yet. Before we start, I know some of you are just tilting your brains out about Thursday Night Football, where Kyle Pitts goes ballistic, goes off for 15 fantasy points. You've been waiting for this for years. His first usable fantasy game ever. 7 catches, 88 yards against the Bucs. I'm here to make you feel better about that. Judging, depending on the format and stuff, it could differ. But I looked into the roster numbers and the starting percentages for Kyle Pitts last night, and it looks like about 35 to 40% of people who have Kyle Pitts sat Kyle Pitts against Tampa. And I get that. Okay, the process, as we say. You did the right thing. And let me tell you why that's not going to be probably not going to be a thing moving forward for Kyle Pitts. Okay. I'm here to make you feel better. This is a therapy session for Kyle Pitts drafters who benched him in the only time he's ever been good. All right. So here are the factors that went into Kyle Pitts' huge fantasy day. Again, 15 fantasy points, an explosion unlike anything we've ever seen in fantasy football. 15 fantasy points. Atlanta last night against the Bucs, 17% over its expected dropback rate. That equals a 79% dropback rate against the Bucs. Okay, That equals Kirk Cousins dropping back to pass 63 times. He had averaged 32 dropbacks per game from week 1 to 4. So we basically doubled the number of dropbacks that we're used to seeing from Kirk Cousins. Volume will follow for everyone in this offense, for Mooney, for London, for Pitts. I guess not for Bijan Robinson, who is not as good as Tyler Algier. But anyway, Kyle Pitts saw a target on 14.5% of his routes. That's pretty bleak. Not good. Overall, he had a 15% target share. Who cares, man? Who cares about all that? I mean, it worked out in the end because it was just massive, disgusting volume for the Falcons. I posted on the X platform, formerly known as Twitter, that possibly we are seeing a shift in the Atlanta offense. Okay. They went from, I'll spare you the nerdy details, but they went from very run heavy, one of the run heaviest teams in the league from week 1 to 3. In week 4, they were 11% over their expected dropback rate. And week 5, they were 17% over, like I said. So maybe Kirk Cousins just needed a month to like get right. I don't know how Achilles work. I'm not a doctor yet, looking into that strongly. But they could, if this is going to be a super ultra giga, as the Zoomers would say, giga pass heavy offense for the Falcons going forward, then I guess this Kyle Pitts performance is repeatable. But if it's not, if they try to be more balanced, which I kind of think they will, because they want to make Bijan Robinson a thing, even though it's just incredibly difficult to do that, then this will not repeat itself. Also, look, people are always telling me, hey, nerd, watch the game. Watch the dang game. Stop looking at your spreadsheets, right? Okay, all right. Well, I watched the game, and Kyle Pitts looks like, I don't know, Jason Witten in his final seasons running around out there. He's just so slow. Why is he slow? It must be the knee injury. He never really recovered from that, I guess. I was told he was fast, yet he is slow. He doesn't move side to side. He always has someone like draped all over him because he can't separate. So anyway, I watched the game. I watched it. I don't see anything special there at all. But I guess it could continue. The good times could keep rolling if Kirk Cousins keeps dropping back a bunch. It won't be 63 times, but maybe we can get, I don't know, 40 to 50 dropbacks per game for Kirk. And if that's the case, then things could be okay. All right, on to your questions. We'll start up top with Dan. Dan's always first in the chat. Congratulations to Dan. What's the news on Nick Chubb? He's ahead of schedule. Everybody's ahead of schedule all the time, so ignore that. Would you trade Pacheco and Rashid Shaheed? I guess. I mean, Pacheco's not going to play this year. I don't know why anybody would take him, but yeah, I guess I would do that. Nate Ford, 12-team PPR, start 2. Okay. All right, that all makes sense. Okay, so we talked on the Rotoworld football show on Thursday, me and Kyle and Pat, pretty extensively about how this is probably going to be a Brian Thomas week. I love how you guys call him BTJ. Come on, man. I mean, I'm used to it now because that's all you kids refer to him as is BTJ. But no one knows who Brian Thomas is. Come on, man. Nobody outside of Jacksonville knows who this guy is. So let's call him by his name, Brian Thomas. It's a Brian Thomas week for reasons we spelled out. So I would go with him. I would just fade Achane. I'd fade pretty much anybody in the Miami offense at this point. I think the Commanders will be probably run heavy here against the run funnel Browns defense. So I guess I'd go Wicks and BTJ. Help. Patrick says help. Jerome Ford, Cam Akers, or Trey Sermon. Miami or Vegas defense. I would appreciate if folks like threw in the matchups for a defense because it's hard for me to like rattle it off. I know Dolphins are playing Patriots. Vegas is playing Denver. I guess I go Miami defense. And then I would go, yikes. Cam Akers is in a pretty good spot. He's going to see a lot of late boxes. The Bills want teams to run. Now, sometimes that comes back to bite them, like when Derrick Henry rips off a 90-yard touchdown. Cam Akers probably won't do that. I know Cam Akers has been bad, and the Texans' offense has been underwhelming, but I kind of lean toward his direction here. All right, Kevin Thomas in the chat, 10-team PPR super flex. That's the kind of detail we need, folks. Guys offer me A.J. Brown and Brooks for A.J. Brown. Wow, yeah. I mean, you're getting the best fantasy player in that deal in A.J. Brown. And usually that's the way to evaluate a trade is like who's getting the best player. Like, I mean, who cares about, especially a 10-team league? Like, who cares about Xavier Legette, right? I mean, almost like who cares about Jonathan Brooks now that Chuba Hubbard's probably going to stick around and be a nuisance for Brooks because Hubbard's been good. I take great pleasure in saying so because I like Hubbard, but I know a lot of folks who stashed Brooks are a little disappointed over that. Anyway, I would take that deal. Yeah, go for it. All right. Mediocrity Incarnate. My dad's nickname for me, by the way. Hi, Dad. Hope you're doing well out there. Need to start one of these guys with Neighbors out. Neighbors. Hope he gets better. Dowdle, Chase Brown, Odunze, or Tracy if Singletary misses. Would love to hear my thoughts on an awful Bucs loss. Well, Todd Bowles is a hyper conservative coach, and that's what you get. Todd Bowles desperately tries not to lose, and that often leads to losing. And that's what you saw on Thursday night. Not a very good head coach, if you ask me. But anyway, on to your question. Half PPR. All right, I'm going to say Chase Brown. I'm going to say Chase Brown because he seems to have emerged as the more reliable option. I think the Bengals are a smart team, and they will recognize that. Zach Moss is still running a lot of routes and actually seeing more targets than Chase Brown, which is kind of crazy. But it is what it is. We have to accept it. All of these plays are tough to endorse. I want to say about the Bears offense. It seems like the Bears want to win this year, and so they're doing what they need to do to win. And the only formula for the Bears to win right now is to play good defense, and they do have a very good defense. So shut down opposing offenses. Limit Caleb Williams' throws to very safe underneath throws, which he's not terrible at because he's terrible at everything else. That worked last week. As Bears fans reminded me, he completed 70% of his passes. Well, that's because they were very easy passes, and he's still just horribly inaccurate. Like that. That's not my opinion. Okay. Like I'm just telling you what the data says. So they're going to try to hide their struggling quarterback. They're going to try to establish it, play good defense. This completely undercuts the case for Odunze. It undercuts the whole case that I bought into early, in back in August, drafting best ball teams and whatnot, that Odunze would benefit from a pass first offense. And Caleb has shown so far not to be able to conduct that sort of offense. So Odunze is a fringe play at best. I mean, just completely unreliable. All right. King Snow says happy Friday to Denny C. That's me. And happy Friday to you. Guys, we're only 3 days away from Monday. As the famous director David Lynch would say online, and if you can believe it, it's Friday once again. Something like that. He shakes the camera, but I'm not going to do that because I don't want anybody to throw up. Love or Fields? Love or Fields? There's a there's a repo man within the block. They're gonna take your Tesla, brother. If I don't answer this correctly, I would go Jordan Love. My hesitation here. I mean, both are good plays, but my hesitation is that the Rams have seen the third fewest pass attempts this season, so teams are really not throwing the ball much against them because they're such a bad offense, bad defense. And also, you know, the absence. Trying not to sneeze. Oh boy. The absence of Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua means that the LA offense doesn't have the firepower to force the other team to keep their foot on the pedal, if you know what I mean. So, and you do know what I mean. I think Love can be efficient enough, though, to start him there. Down extremely bad, even before my opponent. Oh, you got Mooneyed on Thursday night. Sorry to the kids. Okay. I usually don't talk about getting Mooneyed, but I got Mooneyed by JJ Zacharyson, late round quarterback, whoever he is. He Mooneyed me in one league. Unfair, totally unfair, unseemly, even, JJ. Need to start too. You are down bad, down extremely. Oh, the name here, Bank Examiner at the door. The Bank Examiner is looking powerfully into everybody right now. I have to say, we are in the same boat. Bank Examiners are just rampaging up and down the street right now, just taking property as we speak. Okay, need two. So I would go with Lockett and Tutu Atwell. Check out the funnel defense report. I think the Rams will finally be forced to drop back and throw it quite a bit this week against the Packers, and I think Atwell can benefit from that. Alan Lazard or Dobbs. I would actually go Lazard. I know, and something I didn't think I would say. Should I drop Juwan Jennings and pick up Wicks? Yeah, I think so. I think so. I mean, the Jennings usage is kind of sticking a little bit. I don't know if that's because Shanahan is mad at Brandon Ayuk for wearing the wrong shorts or whatever at practice the other day, but I think I would. Yeah, I would want Wicks long term. Wicks is a target commander. I mentioned this on the X platform, formerly known as Twitter, the other day. Wicks has this season earned a target on 27% of his routes. That's a very solid rate. Just for context, it's higher than Jaden Reed, and Christian Watson has only seen a target on 13% of his routes. So, you know, we want guys who are target commanders. I think Wicks is one of those guys. I'm going to try to get some more folks in here by retweeting the Rotoworld account, and hopefully we can grow the audience. I'm going to share some super secret stats with you guys soon. We have a serious non-cute question coming up. I don't see it though. I don't see it. Sorry. All right, let's knock out a few in a row. All right, tight end or Superflex tight end premium. Tight end premium. Ooh, oh boy. Huntley or Komet. I think you have to go Huntley. Hopefully he runs a little bit. I don't know. Dads love air yards, yet they aren't on your mug. Curious. It's true. We need a little air yards graph here. Like Chris Olave. Dads love Chris Olave. He gets a bunch of air yards, but never real yards. We love it. Leggett or Justice Hill. So Justice Hill, oh boy. He is largely a product of game script, sort of. But then again, like last week, the Ravens had a huge lead and he still got there. I would go Leggett is what I would do. All right. Shaheed. Listen, Wan'Dale Robinson, here's a stat for you. 90% of Wan'Dale Robinson's targets have come either behind the line of scrimmage or within 9 yards of the line of scrimmage. That is a beautiful PPR scam. unlike anything anyone has ever seen, frankly. Okay. Without Neighbors, which is such a bummer, but because now Neighbors is not going to lead the league in targets on the season, but oh well. Without Neighbors in the lineup, Wando Robinson could seriously catch 10 passes. I mean, what will it amount to? 70 yards, maybe. Maybe he gets lucky with a touchdown. But you're taking that. Okay. You're taking that for someone you snatched off the waiver wire 2 weeks ago, whatever. I know. No, not in your league. In my league, Wando Robinson was drafted before Malik Neighbors. What is this fantasy guy talking about? Wandale? He's 100% owned in all my leagues, bro. He's better than Neighbors. That's why. Okay. In your league, I get it. Wandale was never available. In most, he was. All right. What do we have? Full PPR. I would go Wandale. Also, Rico or Chase Brown. I'm siding with Chase Brown on that one. All right. I'm down. You guys know how to make me laugh. I hate it. Stop. I'm down beleaguered. Someone last year in a stream said I'm down biblically, and I think I laughed about that like for 4 days straight. I find it so funny. Is McLaurin going to be good enough replacement for Rice? No. No. Oh boy. I'm sorry. You are down beleaguered. Should I trade Debo, Jones, and Najee? Debo, Jones, and Najee for Brown, Cook, and Brooks. My family is begging me to stop staring at the trade. Dad, please take me to school, pack my lunch. I'm so thirsty. I've wanted breakfast for 3 hours. Stop staring at Aaron Jones's box scores. Stop looking at the pass rate over expected for the Pittsburgh offense, Dad. Please, God. I get it, is what I'm saying. I mean, I'm big into this thing where people are trading away AJ Brown because he had one hamstring injury. So I'm siding with that. I think I'm siding with that side because I mean you get Cook too, and Najee's is nobody. So I'm a very nice young man, but also bad fantasy player. Jackson says, "I hate to even ask." You hate to ask, yet you're asking, which is curious. You're down bad if Singletary is out. Listen, I actually have to like leave the country if Devin Singletary doesn't play. Devin Singletary is my RB1 in like 11 leagues. I'm not kidding. I'm not a bit. Okay. Like I have a ticket to Moscow. If Singletary is declared out. Also, I need some updates, guys. I know lots of practices are happening right now. Lots of injury updates are being released. Like I've said before, I can't monitor that and do the stream at the same time. So if you see something, say something, especially on Singletary, so I can actually vomit on air. Well, if Zamir White doesn't play, Madison could be fine. The Raiders sort of leaned on the run a little bit last week. So, yeah, Madison could be okay. Madison or Javonte, I would go Javonte there. Can I drop Jennings for Leggett or Tucker? Excuse me. Yes, I would drop him for Leggett. The Daltoning makes these guys very interesting. Can we have a therapy session for Kyle Pitts drafters who played him? You got 15 points. That's as much as you're ever going to get from Kyle Pitts. So I don't think you need therapy for that. I could be wrong about what therapy is for, though. Oh, yeah. Thank you. So Curtis Samuel is going to play the slot this week with Khalil Shakir out. I knew it, too. When I saw that injury on Sunday night on NBC, I thought, well, it's over. Shakir's probably going to be out for a long time, honestly. So Curtis Samuel steps in. He's been targeted on a high rate of his routes so far. Joe Brady loves Curtis Samuel for whatever reason. Don't question it. Just roll with it. So yeah, I mean, Curtis Samuel becomes super interesting in PPR leagues where you multiple flex spots. I'm in a couple leagues where Curtis Samuel would look like freaking like Jerry Rice circa 1988 to me right now. So Jerry Rice was a great receiver, by the way, for the Zoomers out there. But yeah, Samuel's interesting. All right. Who throws more touchdowns this year, Flacco or Richardson? I mean, probably Richardson. I'm not going to get crazy, but I do think that the Colts' best path forward, if they want to make playoffs this year, is to start Joe Flacco. That is my earnest take. Right. We are all by the Arby's dumpster screaming, the process. The process. It makes you feel better once you do it. Is Calvin Ridley droppable? I mean, you're definitely starting Mooney over Ridley. It's I think fantasy managers, I'm not getting on Ken's case here, okay? But I think fantasy managers tend to underestimate the power of the offensive environment, right? So if you have a Tennessee offense, I thought would be pass heavy, they have been run heavy. The volume's just not going to be there, and the quality of throws are not going to be there because Will Levis stinks, right? The thing about Will Levis, he was never good on any level. Like, he wasn't good in college ever. Don't give me like some COVID era stat about Will Levis. Okay, the guy has stunk his entire career. He was bad last year. He's been bad this year. You know what it is? He's tall and he's muscular, and he has all his hair, and that's important for a quarterback. Okay, he has great hairline, unbelievable physique. Okay, he's tall. If you saw him on the street, you'd be like, "Dang, that guy looks like a quarterback." And that's what NFL front offices are looking for: someone who looks like a quarterback. But man, he's bad. So anyway, yeah, do that. Mooney over Ridley for sure. Do I think Nyheim Hines might be a better stash than Chubb? I don't. No, I don't. I understand what you're saying, but I don't. Bijan is all of us. Yeah. I mean, I said on the X platform, formerly known as Twitter, today that I think Bijan Robinson is definitely like a top 15-ish fantasy option going forward. I don't know. Beyond that, I don't know. I'm not sure. Let's see. Denny, you grew up in the DMV and have more Shanny experience than the average analyst. I think that's what you meant. Yeah, sure. Yeah, right. I've been analyzing this since Clinton Portis. You're right. All right, Julian. I dropped Mooney for him. Why would you do that? You know who McConkey looks like? McConkey looks like this guy. I'm sorry to say. Look, and McConkey, very nice young man. But when this man runs around the NFL field, some call it the football field, with his big old helmet jostling around on his tiny body, he looks like Toad. Okay, I actually can. If you listen closely, if you're watching a Chargers game, you listen closely, you can hear him going like Toad does when he falls off Rainbow Road. I don't get it. But you made horrible mistake. Don't stop with the Chargers receivers, guys. Stop. Stop trying to make it a thing. It's not. Justin Herbert mid. Greg Roman wants to run a lot. Jim Harbaugh doesn't want to score points. What is there to see here? Okay. Who to start at tight end? I would start. Yeah, I'd start Ingram if he doesn't have an injury designation. Actually, I would start Kraft. I was just trying to recall. Kraft ran a route on like 85% of the dropbacks last week. The Packers had a spike week last week as far as pass volume goes because they were down by 100. chasing points throughout the game, really. So that's not going to happen again, likely. But Kraft should be fine. Let's see, Higgins. I'd go with Higgins. I think I wrote it up in the Funnel Defense Report, which is on Rotoworld. If you guys want to check it out, I think Bengals will pass a lot this week. When did David Duchovny start doing fantasy? Look, I am David Duchovny. I had to find something after X-Files. We tried to do a second reboot of X-Files, but it didn't work out because society had become too weird, and there was nothing else to explore. So now I'm doing fantasy stuff, and next Friday, special guest Scully. So check that out. Standard scoring with Q. Standard scoring. Question. Okay. With Shakira out, who can I flex? I would flex. Oh man, that's a good question. I would actually lean Kincaid. I think it could be a Kincaid sort of game. I think Sermon is a nice floor play. I don't really see a ceiling. Standard scoring. Dang it. It has to be Sermon. Sorry. Zork is back in the chat. Mark Andrews Dunzo. He is. Check out the Rotoworld Football Show for more on that, where we talk about how done Mark Andrews is. Will Kraft be a good rest of season replacement? Probably. What happens after we die? You're going to have to tune in to next Friday's Start Sit stream with Scully to find out more. All right. Yeah. Okay. Serious, non-cute question. Uh-oh. I sense a cute question coming on. And on this stream, what do we say, folks? Ready? 1, 2, 3. We don't get too cute. Would you start Trevor Lawrence over Kyler? My opponent has Brian Thomas. I wouldn't. The hope is that Kyler runs a little more here against the Niners, who are kind of susceptible to rushing quarterbacks. Kyler has not rushed more than 5 times in a game this year. We would like to see that tick up a little bit. I mean, not a lot. Like, I'm not expecting a Jaden Daniels 14 rushing attempt performance from Kyler, but 8? Can we get 8, Kyler, if you're listening? If you're not playing Call of Duty. I know those jokes are old, but they're kind of real. I would go with Kyler. All right. Should I drop Ty Chandler for Kareem Hunt? Gosh. I mean, do you... Okay. Oh, I dropped Toad. I dropped McConkey. Man, I hope he never sees this. Do you need to start Kareem Hunt? Because if you don't, then I would just stay put on Chandler, who could be really, really useful if Aaron Jones goes down this year. You can pick up Justin Watson if you like. Yes, I think that would be fine. What time do the Orioles... Stop, man. Why are you messing with me? My Orioles... Listen, I've been a lifelong Orioles fan since Monday, and they get swept in a 3-game series. We talked about this on the Rotoworld Football Show. What the heck is going on around here with a 3-game series? 3 games? I can't, I'm not a baseball guy, obviously, but I try to get into it. I'm from Maryland. I have a bunch of Orioles stuff in my office for some reason. My dad was a big fan. So I'm watching in game 2 against the Royals, whoever they are. I'll tell you a story in a second about Bobby Witt, the shortstop of the Royals. But I'm watching it, and they say, well, if the Orioles lose this game, it's over. They, the announcers say something like this. And I'm like, no. The announcers don't know this. They think this is a 2 out of 3. This must be a 3 out of 5. There can't possibly be a 2 out of 3. That's not possible. It has to be 3 out of 5. And it turns out it was 2 out of 3. What? This is the worst. As Pat already said, this is the worst playoff format in history. The only people who like this format, be real. Come on. Be honest with me. The only people who like this format are Detroit Tigers fans. That's it. That's the list because you guys won, and and you beat the Astros, and that's great. I should have finished that word. You beat the Astros instead of cutting it off, and that's great. But the only reason you like this format is because you won. If you can open your mind to having lost that series, you would have hated it because it's a bad format. Is Bijan a viable trade target? I mean, I guess if you want a totally mid running back, I think you could do better. I don't know. I think you can do better. Any hopes for Mostert rest of season? Nope. Which two should I start? This week of Deontay, Higgins, and Ayuk. I feel like as soon as I bench Ayuk, he'll go off. You cannot think that way. Do not fall into that thinking. Come on. It doesn't matter. You're starting him or not starting him has no effect on Brandon Ayuk. He doesn't know you exist. We have to remember this at all times. Deontay Johnson's a must start in all formats. For me, I would also start Ayuk. Just go with it. The process. Oh, I wanted to mention about the Orioles Royals series. Bobby Witt, apparently the analytics say he has run hardest to first base of any player in the league this year, right? Like, I don't know how they measure it, but they have a way of baseball has a way of measuring everything, including how hard you're running to first base. So just legging it out, right? And he does it more than anybody in the majors. And I can tell you, here's how I know I'm old. When I heard that stat, I was like, hell yes, Bobby Witt. I don't know who you are, but that's good stuff. You're setting a good example for the kids to leg it out to first no matter what. I knew it. I knew at that moment. I said, "Oh my God, I'm washed. I'm washed. I'm actually happy about a guy running hard to first base. This is something I was not super into as a young person." Najee or Ford? I would go Najee Harris since everybody else in that backfield is probably hurt. Ken, 10-team league. Javonte Williams, maybe Javonte Williams. I don't know. There are 16 J Williams in the league. I guess I'd go. Okay, if it's Jameson Williams, I would go Jameson. If not, I would go Coleman since Shakir is out. Okay, yeah, the mainstream press doesn't want you to know about it. No. The mainstream press wants you to know all about Justin Watson. Okay, that's all they talk about. Okay, I tuned into the NBC Evening News the other day. It's all about Justin Watson being the new wide receiver 1 in Kansas City. Okay, I mean, there's other news in the world, Lester Holt, if you want to check it out. But I don't know. I don't know who I'd want in this. I mean, maybe Xavier Worthy, who's just a gadget player. He's just Tutu Atwell. But I guess Juju Smith-Schuster. Jeremy Fowler from ESPN said Juju Smith-Schuster will see a major usage bump. It's the bleakest, most depressing thing I've heard in weeks, but I guess it's true. I guess it makes sense. I'd go with Juju. All right, I'm going to scroll down a little bit. Trade Jameson for Cooper. That's a good question. So Amari Cooper is running super cold. He is the king of despair yards / air yards, as I write in the regression files basically every week. Dead last in open score, meaning that he's just not separating from defenders. He has a terrible quarterback, maybe the worst quarterback in the league. Still hot coffee because it's on a heated surface, as I said at the beginning of the stream. I would, man, I don't know, man. You'd have to bank on Jameis Winston coming in. I just don't think that's going to happen. I'd hold on to Jameson. Let's see. Start with Witten God or Jawan Jennings. I guess I'd start Whittington. I guess. Wait, what? Sorry, I didn't trust you. Oh, what? Dude, really? Why do you all ask me things if you're not going to do exactly what I say? I don't get that at all. Wait, no, Daniels over Kyler was not even close, bro. Not even like in the realm. Jaden Daniels could easily end up as the QB1, like running away from everyone this year. And Kyler Murray may be a top 12 option. Come on. I forgive you. Come here. Give me a hug. Okay. Pick 2. I have your full trust now. Okay. Well, hopefully I don't screw this up. Pick 2 PPR. Okay. All right. If Joe Flacco starts for the Colts, I'm trying to be very clear about this. If he starts for the Colts, I would go with Pittman and Brian Thomas. Okay. You have a nice little correlation there too. If not, if Richardson starts, I would go with JSN and Brian Thomas. I think I have steered you in the correct direction here. It's not a great spot for Darnold, I will say. I would actually lean Fields. I would lean Fields over Darnold. What is your view on ETN versus Hubbard or Dobbins for the rest of the year? Trying to figure out what I should do. Yeah, I mean, ETN is like a top 15, maybe top 18 option. I mean, a great spot theoretically on paper. On my spreadsheet, ETN looks pretty dang good this week. Okay, now is football played on a spreadsheet? This is my question. I've never heard it asked before. My guess is no. Football's played on the field, not on the spreadsheet. Is football played on my couch? No, it's played on the spreadsheet. Is football played in my car? No. We can name other places where football is not played. You know where it is played? It's not played on the field. We have to remember that. I mean, I like Hubbard. I like Hubbard more this week. I like Dobbins should be okay long term. Yeah, ETN should be okay, but not great. Oh yeah, we're right. Okay, I'm going to scroll down a little bit. I'm going to try to get to more here. I want to read you some nerdy stats about rushing yards, about rushing matchups for this week. Oh no, Waddle or Dunze? I'd go Waddle. Let's see. Pacheco definitely not playing. Well, I mean, unless something happened, I'm now you're gonna have to make me look it up, man. Come on. I thought that I saw a report that Andy Reid. Let's see. He suffered ligament damage. He broke his leg. Andy Reid implies Pacheco could be out for the year. 6 to 8 weeks at best. I mean, he might be able to return for the fantasy playoffs. Maybe we'll see. Pick 2. Sorry, I have an itchy nose. I would go. Why can I never the Jennings thing? Why am I always like thrown for a loop with Jennings? So I would go with Jawan Jennings. All right. I would go with Sermon and Downs if Flacco starts. If Richardson starts, I would go Jennings and Sermon. Non PPR. Diggs. It's good. There's going to be a lot of Diggs this week. The Vikings lead the league are second in the league in cover 2 or 2 deep safety coverage, right? And so that opens up the short areas. That's where Diggs operates primarily. So Diggs against his former team is going to see a bunch of catches. Wait, what am I saying here? No, I'm wrong matchup. I was thinking Bills. I'm sorry, the Bills. I was thinking of his former team. I'm sorry. The Bills play the second most 2 high safety coverage. That opens up, the short areas. So Diggs is good for this week, and I would go with Achane since it's standard. Hopefully, you get a touchdown. I've dropped Andrews. I am not holding on to the name value only. Yeah. So here's the thing about Andrews. it's merciful what's happened, really, if you think about it. Because it's not like Andrews had like a horrible week 1 and then like an okay week 2 and then a bad week 3 and then a great week 4 and you just don't know what to do. He's been a total catastrophe from minute 1, right? The team clearly prioritizes Isaiah Likely over Andrews. And so you are free. You are free to do the right thing and to ditch Andrews. Maybe if Likely misses time later this year, Andrews becomes really interesting, I think. But because he hasn't been doing anything, you can now make the right call and not have to torture yourself about, well, maybe this is the week, maybe that's the week. It's never the week. The play volume and the pass volume for Baltimore is simply not there for Andrews. Did I miss any? CMC trade for Breece Hall. Evaluate. I'm Ron Burgundy. I would want Breece Hall because he's playing football, is what I would say. 10 team. Oh, I already did that. Did I miss any? Guys, I'm trying. All right. A few more, and then I'm going to get to the nerdy rushing stats. Hello. Hurts or Love rest of season. I guess Hurts by a little bit. Can we get AJB? You should try to get AJB. I actually would go Jacoby Myers over Wicks. Myers was targeted on 40% of his routes last week with Devontae Adams out. The Raiders are not going to be pass heavy or anything, but 40% target per route run rate is pretty great. So don't ignore that, please. Let's see. 12-person PPR league. Let's see. Wicks, Worthy, Moss. I would go with Wicks and Worthy. Wicks and Worthy. Yes. Trade Metcalf and Singletary for London, Etienne, and Gesicki. I mean, why is Gesicki even in there? No. I want Metcalf. I mean, London looked great last night, and if the Falcons continue to pass at a heavy clip, then he could be pretty fun. But like Etienne, like Gesicki, it's not even a fantasy option. So it is me, by the way. It is. All right, let me get to these nerdy stats. Listen, we have about 12 minutes or so. All right, each week I go through teams that are allowing the most yards before contact. Actually, the defense is allowing the most yards before contact per rush, which is an indication, which is closely correlated with long runs. You won't be surprised that number 1 on this list are the Buffalo Bills, giving up 3.1 yards before contact per carry. That has a lot to do with Derrick Henry going for an 87-yard touchdown against them at the start of the Week 4 game. Commanders are second, actually, and they have been top 5 in this category, or bottom 5, however you want to look at it, the worst 5 throughout the season. Now they're second. They're giving up 2.5 yards before contact per carry. I think Jerome Ford has a good matchup. He hasn't been seeing the sort of backfield share that we want or that I thought he would get, but it is a good spot. Number 3 here, Eagles, they're on bye. Number 4 is interesting. The Saints giving up 2.4 yards before contact per carry. The crazy out of control game script in week 1 and 2 for New Orleans largely papered over, I think, how bad this rush defense can be or will be for the Saints. And I think Kareem Hunt taking charge for now of this Kansas City backfield as an RB1, I think he is in a quietly very, very good spot. So just remember that for this week. I don't know about the rest of the season for Hunt, but this week it actually does look good here. Bears, surprisingly, Bears great pass defense. The rush defense can be got, as the kids are saying. 5th most yards before contact per carry. They are playing a team. They're playing somebody. They are playing the. Oh, I can't believe I forgot this. Yeah, the Panthers. So Chuba Hubbard in another very good spot. And then one other one I wanted to mention up top here. The Rams. The Rams 7th most yards before contact per carry. Josh Jacobs, I know, kind of splitting the workload now with Emmanuel Wilson. Things are not good, but I do think that this is a spot where he could get right. Going to the bottom of the list, the toughest rush defenses according to this metric. The Vikings, the toughest by far. So this is more tough sledding for Breece Hall and Braylon Allen in week 5. Patriots, second best in this metric, yards before contact per carry. So Achane is down bad again. Packers are very good here. I really think Kyron Williams is going to have his work cut out, but of course he always gets away with it with a touchdown. And then, Kansas City is one of the best in this metric. Alvin Kamara's pass game involvement makes it so that he's a must play and has a pretty nice ceiling no matter what. I don't think we're going to see one of those weeks where he's just like getting like chunk plays on the ground over and over, 8, 10, 12 yards at a time. I don't think that's going to happen this week. So just check your expectations there. All right, folks, we have about 8 minutes left. No word so far on Flacco season. I will say just in, I'm hearing from Lester Holt. Lester Holt's a big fan of the show, by the way. I've referenced him 3 times. Joe Flacco was seen. Yes, he was seen taking first team reps for the Colts on Friday. So I would guess that he will play. And we know a Joe Flacco offense is a high volume offense. This is fantastic for everybody involved. Is Ramondre worth a hold or trade him for Tank Dell? Well, I would trade him for DJ Moore for sure. Tank Dell's not going to be a thing this year. PPR, Bijan drafter offered me Bijan for JT and Godwin. Help. Yeah, this person needs help. Yeah, I mean, look, Jonathan Taylor has the lowest high ankle sprain in Western history, right? In the history of Western medicine is what I meant to say. No one has ever seen a lower high ankle sprain. It's very high, yet at the same time, it's very low compared to other high ankle sprains. I wouldn't be surprised if he misses 2 games, maybe more. So I would if you're good at receiver, I would probably make this deal. Yeah. Lindorphins is in the chat. Have PPR sit one. I'd sit Addison. Yes, I would sit Addison. He got away with it. Folks. Super Dave. Supa Dave. Full PPR, sit one. Gah. Adunze. I hate that. But yeah, you gotta sit him. Oh baby. Yeah. So okay, both of these are really good matchups. This is a good problem to have. Some would call this a champagne problem. Okay, where you're sitting at your laptop because millennials. I don't know if you're millennial or not, but anyway, if you're millennial, you're making this decision at your laptop because you don't do it on your phone. Okay, like some Zoomer. Okay, Zoomers are watching movies on their phone. It's horrific, nightmarish. And you're sipping champagne. You're sipping the finest champagne that's available at the local beer and wine store. And you're saying, do I start the Broncos against the Raiders or do I start the Vikings against the Jets, darling? And you say, I'm starting the Broncos because they're going to smash the Raiders. There you go. Let's see. Someone who would, okay. Let's see. Half PPR, Deontay Johnson. I would start. I think Deontay's a must start. All right, I'm going to try to fly through some here. Assuming Devontae Adams, what's your outlook for Trey Tucker? Yes. Trey Tucker is someone to monitor, especially in deeper leagues. I picked him up last week when Devontae picked up his hamstring injury in practice. I picked up Trey Tucker because I was thinking he could emerge as the big play wide receiver too. He's going to be high variance, but I think he needs to be rostered. Love you too, Frankie. By the way, T Higgy or Scary Terry. Terry is scary. I would go with T Higgins this week. Injuries, and the bye week have me looking very strongly, very powerfully at either Worthy or right. I mean, they're the same player, but I would go with Worthy just because of the offense. Right. This is in reference to my Will Levis rant a few minutes ago. Need a spot start, but everyone is injured. Should I drop Shakir? Yeah. Get Wandell. I talked about Wandell earlier. Get him. I'm trying. Let's see. Standard league, Etienne or Pickens. I would go with Pickens. I'd go with Pickens. Yes, I want to believe too in Aliens and in the pass rate over expected of the Falcons offense. Those are two things I'd like to believe in. Terry, Kirk, Wilson. Who's Wilson? I don't know who Wilson is. PPR sit 1. I have no idea who Wilson is. I would not sit Terry or Kirk. This mystery. Oh, Garrett Wilson. Come on, man. Come on. There were like 15 Wilsons. Come on. I guess Kirk and Wilson then. There's so many questions, guys. We're gonna have to expand this to 3 hours, I think. Start Justin Fields or Sam Darnold. I think I said Fields earlier, so yeah. Did we make baseball even worse? Possibly. Darnold rest of season, definitely. I'd go with Ayuk. Let's not get over our skis on Wicks. I don't even ski. So half PPR, Justice Hill, Zach Moss, or Tank Dell. I would go with Zach Moss myself. Darth Tony. I already answered that. Wow, you guys are just spamming the chat. Spamming. Do you think the Dolphins no, I don't think he will perform well, but he could fall into a touchdown or something. Xavier Worthy or I would just have to start Tyreek. You got to believe that Mike McDaniel will eventually make, I don't know, one adjustment, without his starting quarterback. That would be nice. Everybody else is making adjustments. Matt LaFleur is making adjustments for Malik Willis, making Malik Willis look like Randall Cunningham. Okay. Who else is doing it? Sean McVay making adjustments. He's lost everybody. He's still winning games. Shanahan's making adjustments based on the injuries, right? Mike McDaniel, you got to do something. Okay. You're still my nerd king, but you're not going to be my nerd king if you don't adjust and get the ball to Hill. Hill's been targeted on 24% of his routes since Tua went down. That is sort of a good, like, peripheral stat there. We're going to hang our hat on that. Cooper Addison or Higgins? I'd actually go with Amari Cooper, despite all the sad air yards. Wow, you guys are really trying to get your answer. Okay, one more minute. Update on Brian Robinson injury. Should I start? What is the update? You're not going to tell me the update? You're going to just say there is an update, but you won't tell me what it is? Trending in the right direction. Okay, I see that now on rotoworld.com. Trending in the right direction. Austin Eckler has been cleared from his brain injury. So I would start. Yeah. Browns are a run funnel. I think Washington's going to establish it hard. Going Brian Robinson. Pacheco, can you put him on IR? I would be hesitant to drop either. No one knows about Rashee Rice's injury, apparently. So, he's going to be out for a while, but I'm not going to tell you to just drop him. Lazard or Tank Dell? I guess I'd go Tank Dell. Sermon, Gibson, or Dowdle? I just go Sermon. I hope for some targets. Oh, guys, I gotta go. Akers or Justice Hill? So Akers is in a quietly good spot. He's going to be running into a lot of light boxes. Like, the Bills are going to want them to run, the Texans to run. And the Texans are good with running because they're not a good offense right now. And so Akers, I think, is in a very quietly good spot. Don't tell anyone. Keep that between us. Guys, I'm sorry. I couldn't answer all your questions today. But thank you for joining me today on the Week 5 Start Sit. Join me every Friday. clear time out of your busy work schedule to join me and ask your questions. You can find all my work on Rotoworld. You can find me on the X platform, formerly known as Twitter, at CDCarter13. Check out the Rotoworld Football Show. We have a great Week 5 preview with me, Kyle Dvorak, and Pat Daugherty. Until next week, good luck in Week 5.